Sonder, you're sitting in traffic and you glance over at the car next to you. There's just some random person in there tapping their fingers on the wheel, completely in their own world. And for a second, it hits you. That person has an entire life, a childhood, a set of fears, an argument they've been replaying all week, a favorite song, people they love, a whole story that's just as long and complicated as yours. And you'll drive away and never know a single thing about any of it. That feeling is called Sonder. It's that moment when you realize that every single person around you is living a life that's just as full and real as yours. It sounds obvious when you say it out loud, but actually feeling it, really feeling it, is something different. It usually hits in crowded places, train stations, busy streets, airports. Your brain tries to actually grasp that every face you see is a whole person, and then it kind of gives up because the scale is too much. It's one of those feelings that's hard to describe as either good or bad. It's just big. Hi, Wreath. You probably know what nostalgia feels like. That warm, slightly sad pull toward the past. But there's a version of it that goes a step further, where you're not just missing a time, you're missing a place, or a feeling, or a version of your life that doesn't exist anymore. And the hard part is that even if the place still exists, the thing you're actually missing doesn't. You can go back, but it won't be the same. In Welsh, they call this hyrith. It's a longing for home, but a home you can't return to, or maybe one that never quite existed the way you remember it. Welsh speakers will tell you it genuinely doesn't translate into English, not because they're being dramatic, but because we really don't have a word for it. People feel it for their childhood neighborhood after it changes, for the early days of a relationship, for a summer that felt like it would last forever. There's a grief to it, even though technically nothing bad happened. Things just moved on, and somewhere in that gap, Hiriath lives. Limerence. You know that phase early on with someone you like, where your brain basically stops working? You've had maybe 2 real conversations with this person, but you've already thought about them an embarrassing number of times. You check your phone more than you want to admit. When they do message, there's this little rush that doesn't make sense given how little you actually know them. That's not just a crush. A psychologist named Dorothy Tenoff studied this in the 1970s and gave it a name, limerence. What makes it different from just liking someone is how involuntary it is. You're not choosing to think about them constantly. Your brain is just doing it, over and over, and it doesn't stop until it gets the information it's looking for. Because the real thing limerence is after is reciprocation. It's not just about the person, it's about whether they feel it too. Every small thing they do gets read into. A fast reply means something. A slow one means something else. The moment the uncertainty disappears, either they like you back or they don't, the feeling tends to fade pretty quickly, which tells you a lot about what it actually was. Canopsia. There's something specifically unsettling about a place built for people when the people are gone. A school during summer break, an office on a Sunday evening. A stadium an hour after the game ended, cups still on the floor, lights still on. These places were designed for crowds. The chairs, the signs, the layout. All of it assumes people are supposed to be there. And when they're not, something feels off in a way that's hard to explain. That's canopsia. The eerie feeling you get in an abandoned place that used to be full of life. What makes it different from just being in an empty room is that you can feel the absence. If you'd never known the place was full, it would just be a room. But because you know what it's supposed to be, the emptiness has a texture to it. People get the same feeling from old social media profiles that haven't been touched in years, or home videos of people who have since died. The structure is still there. The person isn't. And that gap creates something genuinely strange. Chrysalism. There's a reason so many people say they love rainy days, and it's more specific than just liking the look of rain. When it's properly pouring outside, loud enough to hear, bad enough that going out would be miserable, and you're inside, warm, with nowhere to be, something shifts. The outside world and all its demands becomes physically unreachable. And in that, there's a kind of permission. Permission to stay put, to not deal with anything, to just exist where you are. This is chrysalism, named after the chrysalis, the cocoon a butterfly lives in before it emerges. It's that specific feeling of being sealed off from the world in a way that feels safe rather than trapped. What makes it work is the contrast. The noise of the storm outside is actually part of what makes the warmth inside feel so good. Your brain registers the difference and relaxes. That's the feeling. It's why some people will crack a window just to hear the rain better. Velocore. Used bookshops have an atmosphere that's hard to put your finger on. It's not just the smell of old paper, though that's part of it. It's something about the objects themselves.